Hello and welcome. Conservative View from New Hampshire is a daily podcast where we shine a light on the happenings of the day. Conservative View from New Hampshire is a proud partner of and contributor to the Liberty Loft. My name is Ray Cardello, and I'm your host for today's podcast. So let's get started with today's commentary for June 22nd, 2022. This is episode 26 of season 11. Does anyone have a plan for electric vehicles? I do not want one, and I will fight tooth and nail before being forced into one. We have 2 full-sized SUVs and 1 Class C motorhome. We pull a boat with one vehicle, and the other transports many golfers and their clubs and carts. The usage makes a full-size a necessity for both. The motorhome speaks for itself. There are currently no electric RVs available, but from the website Drivin' and Vibin', this information. In 2019, a German company produced an electric RV. The Iridium E-Mobile RV had 2 sizes of battery packs, creating 2 models. The model that travels up to 249 miles before recharging was priced at $219,000. The one that went 124 miles is $188,000. By comparison, the 2022 announcement by Winnebago that can travel 125 miles per charge will sell for over $100,000. It appears that number will be increasing exponentially as time passes before they build an electric model RV. So to replace our 3 vehicles with comparable electric vehicles would be about $400,000. Not a price we are willing to pay, and we are not ready to give up our lifestyle for electric charging stations. The Biden administration nor anyone else in the green-thinking government has thought this through. The cost, travel range, charging stations, modifications to the home electrical system, size and variety of vehicles, expansion of the electric grid, and even the end game for old damaged batteries, nothing is planned. The electric vehicle batteries are expensive, huge, heavy, and full of toxic chemicals, making disposal extremely challenging. The president took the one step that he thinks will stimulate all subsequent actions. He declared war on the fossil fuel industry. Biden killed the Keystone Pipeline, which would have brought millions of barrels a year from Canada. He limited drilling and fracking. He is going after the profits of major oil companies. None of these steps will encourage the production and distribution of oil and gas, and gas prices have more than doubled since Joe took office. Biden's actions have taken a toll on every American, but it is still not enough for the AOCs and John Kerrys of the world. The radical far-left Green Democrats want quicker action. They have no plan, but they want a fossil fuel-free America now. Texas has introduced a plan to install a network of EV charging stations. The Texas Electrical Vehicle Infrastructure Plan, unveiled by Texas DOT earlier this month, was driven by the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, signed into law by President Biden in November, which created funding programs for EV charging infrastructure for states. Now, it's a mouthful, but what it means is the federal government is going to subsidize the construction of EV charging stations. This should be a private venture if EV vehicles was worthy of private investment. According to the Texas DOT, 80% of funding for the program will be covered by the federal government, with Texas receiving $407.8 million from the Federal Highway Administration over the next 5 years. The remaining 20% will be covered by third parties, and no state funds will be used for the project, the agency said. So this is a $500 million project to build 237 stations, or roughly $2.1 million per station. Texas has 268,000 square miles, so again, 1 charging station for every 1,000 square miles. Do you see a problem here? There are 168,000 locations selling gas to the public in the USA. Let's say there's an average of 6 pumps at each location. At the rate in the Texas plan, We are looking at $2.2 trillion to replace every gas pump in America. It takes about 5 minutes to fill a vehicle with gas, about 45 minutes to charge an EV. Can you see the lines forming now? There is no plan. Is the environment important? Of course it is, but we have been told for 30 years that we have just a few years before becoming extinct. We cannot succumb to alarmists and be smart about a universal plan. America cannot solve the climate issue alone, and we need an effort from all countries. America accounts for only 10% of the emissions in the world. Our efforts alone will have little impact on the world environment. We must stop these knee-jerk reactions like pulling the plug on gas and oil before the other steps are ready for conversion to alternative energy sources. We need to stop Biden and minimize his negative impact on the country until we retire him, like a gas-guzzling car, in November. Thank you for joining me today. You have been listening to Conservative View from New Hampshire, a proud partner of the Liberty Loft. We hope you have enjoyed today's podcast and will share it with a friend. Until tomorrow, make the best of yourself and your day.